Cavalier faithful, welcome on into Cavs Encapsulated. It is Monday, February 12th. We are recording this pregame before the Cavaliers tip off against the Philadelphia 76ers. We want to come on here, compile our thoughts, do a quick little roundtable, which is our usual for the Cleveland Cavaliers, who at this point, gentlemen, I don't really have much more to say. Every night it feels like the same. It feels like we're the better basketball team. We have the better players. We have the better strategy. We have better coaching. I said it. JB giving his flowers, everything, and we just come out and win these games. They're really never in doubt. And we've had we've had some stretches that are better than others as of late. But overall, just some of the best basketball I have seen from this franchise. And that's what I want to start off with you guys, Logan. I want to come to you first. I put this out on Twitter a couple days ago, and I just want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear if you disagree or agree, and I want to hear your rationale behind that. So I tweeted this out. It got great, obviously, with what's going on, it got a great response. But the Cleveland Cavaliers are playing some of the best basketball in the history of the franchise. Logan, do you agree or disagree with this statement, and why?
I wholeheartedly agree. That could be saying that there hasn't been a lot to like about Cleveland basketball in the past. But right now, I think you can't really argue this. The numbers speak for themselves, of course. Like we know about the best start to a new year, this, that, and the other, 17 of 18, 9 straight. All those numbers are fantastic and good. But what I like is I haven't seen this Cavaliers team with Mitchell, I'm talking last year as well, play with this much confidence, almost cocky in a way. And you know what? I usually hate those teams, but this is my team. And I like that they're just going out there with some attitude. Like the other day, what happened? Ben Simmons shoved Jared Allen to the ground, and Allen got right back up, back in his face, and the Cavaliers scored 21 unanswered points in the third quarter. That's the kind of stuff that I love to see. So, yeah, they're playing some of the best basketball in the franchise's history, but I think it's just because their attitude is totally different. My rationale is that this team realized – yeah, the pieces are here, but the best teams, the really good teams in the NBA, they eventually click. And that's why we were frustrated. When the hell is it going to click? 13-12, come on. Injuries suck, blah, blah, blah. The injuries are done, gentlemen. The Cavaliers are clicking. JB is coaching. Never thought I'd say that. And they're on a roll. So I think part of my rationale, too, is it looks so piss poor at the beginning of the season.
Yep.
That what they're doing right now, it feels like a whole new season. It feels like year 3 with Donovan all of a sudden. It seems like we finally have found what we need to be successful. All that will matter in the playoffs, but we sure as hell are far more equipped this time around.
I'm just looking at it from, and I think a lot of people who are proponents of the Donovan Mitchell trade, which I know is a vast majority of the fan base, but I just think a lot of people who have really been locked into this team specifically the last 2 years, they've actually done some of the best job of like just realizing expectations, because I think it is difficult when you make a trade for that A+ tier player, that S tier player in Donovan Mitchell. But like you said, Logan, this is really only his second season. It does kind of feel like a revitalization from the first 25 games where it has kind of, turned into a new year. But all you have to compare it to is really last year. This is a totally different franchise. This is a totally different front office, coaching staff, roster composition from the days of old, from 8, 9, 10 years ago. So all we could go off of is this year previous to last year. And I'll say this before going to you, Justin, hearing your thoughts. I felt like last year I was just like hoping in some games Mitchell would get us over the finish line. Yeah. Mobley would make a defensive play. Mm-hmm. Garland could, get the job done. I knew it was possible, but it was more like, well, let's kind of like hope this happens. Now I'm sitting there and I'm like, I feel confident we're going to go down, the court and score here. I feel confident we're going to get a stop, a turnover, multiple, out on the fast break when we need to. That's been the real difference for me year over year. Justin, how do you feel about this tweet?
Yeah, no, I think unless you're talking about the last 3 games of the finals that we won, I don't think there's a longer stretch of games that I can remember of a winning streak. 9 wins in a row now. I think 9-1 in the last 10 games. And, Logan made a great point that it looks like they're a little, cocky and whatnot. But I would turn it around. You want to talk about a cocky team. You look at last year's Memphis team before all the Ja Morant stuff and kind of how they were, acting, playing. Everyone remembers what Dylan Brooks did to Donovan Mitchell here in Cleveland and whatnot. But there's a stark difference between, I think, that and what we are, where you're watching Donovan Mitchell skip down the line, watching Sam Merrill shoot a three. I like it. It's a lot of fun and everything. My point of being with this is just like, man, to have this season be what it has been and kind of just develop into everything coming together, not just like, hey, we're second in the East, but your coach is finally up to snuff. The rest of your roster really seems like it's up to snuff. And for lack of better comparison, like the way we are currently playing reminds me of the Jimmy Butler Heat in the sense that like Donovan Mitchell is clearly your A1 plus player. Same thing with Jimmy Butler. And then you have surrounding pieces like Bam Adebayo and, for us, it's Evan Mobley and whatnot. But last year they had Strus and Vincent and a lot of different other guys who contributed, Harrow and whatnot. But I feel like it was always a matter of fact that Jimmy Butler was going to be the guy who got them going, got the job done and whatnot. And I feel like that's kind of what Donovan has transitioned to, because we're not seeing him drop the 40-point games at nearly as much or get to that kind of like, oh, I need to be chucking up shots like Logan was saying. It's just kind of like they all really know their roles and they really have this just complete. And again, now we're consistently, I'm telling you, I knew it was going to be a beautiful thing once we got to it, but finally having 10 players play consistently above 10 minutes has been quite literally the only thing I've ever asked for ever with this team. And it's been working. I think on nights when Max Strus is shooting 0 for 4 from the 3-point line, you put a Sam Merrill in and he goes 1 for 2 and 1 for 3 or 2 for 3, whatever it may be. There's just pieces that fill in for one another and have contributed to that kind of streak that we're on right now. So it's just been great. And I don't think that it's very comparable to anything that we've seen in the last decade.
And to build off your point, Justin, you talk about the Grizzlies and the cockiness and things like that. And, maybe cocky wasn't the right word for me, but the things that the Grizzlies did, they supported highlights, right? They supported, Ja Morant, crazy dunk. I'm going to go crazy on that. Ha, losers, blah, blah, blah. Like just childish crap, right? The Cavaliers, it's like they're supporting each other. Oh, Sam Merrill. This kid, who the hell is Sam Merrill? He's knocking down triples. Yeah, we're feeling pretty good about ourselves. They support each other. I got to believe that half of these guys, the way they're playing is because they feel they're in a good culture and a good team. A guy like George Niang starts a season. I'm like, get him off the freaking court for the first 15 games. He couldn't knock down a shot. I was so sick of him. But those guys kept with him. Start calling him G-Wagon. They gave him a cool nickname instead of the minivan. And suddenly he starts becoming something. I just think there's something right with this team. Their culture, they're cocky because they're good. They're cocky because they support each other. And I just think that it's a really, really cool thing to watch.
Absolutely. I think that there's an aspect of this team that even going back to like a year ago, as I previously stated, I feel like there's so much less one-dimensional play on this basketball team. And I think that segues pretty well into the next topic here, the next thing that I want to throw up here on the screen. Shout out to Logan for actually linking this in the chat. Interesting graphic here. Not a stat you see, talk about a whole lot. Least points per possession when defending isolation this season. So let's break this down to a couple levels. Obviously, we see Max Strus there at number 2 with the likes of guys like Keegan Murray, Durant, and Rudy Gobert. Obviously, this list is pretty stacked. From a Cavalier standpoint, when I think of this team's defense, that's what I think of, team defense. We have the isolation guys to get the job done, but this to me, if you were to guess, if there was a Cavalier on this list, who would it be? I would have likely said Okoro. Now, Okoro not featured on this list. You got people like Davis, Markkanen, even Luka at the 10 spot. But Max Strus being on this list, kind of resetting the framework again, because what's your issue last year? You don't have enough floor spacing. Okay, no worries. We see the issue. We're gonna address the issue, correct the issue. Go out and sign Max Strus. He's the deep ball threat. He's going to be able to move around on the offense. He's going to have the unlimited motor, go from there. That's the primary issue that was addressed. What else did we get from that signing? We got someone who hustles on the basketball court, and we have someone in Max Strus who is a really, really good defender when it comes to isolation. He doesn't have to go out there 5, 6, 7 threes a game. And in his Cavalier debut, I believe 7 threes a game. I'm not sure we've seen that since. Maybe once, maybe twice. Has he been a flamethrower all year? No, I don't think anyone would say he's, been an elite shooter all year long. It's very difficult to be in the National Basketball Association. And when your teammate like Sam Merrill is kind of, burst onto the scene and, having a little bit of a revival, as far as that getting the headlines and everything and his story. But Max Strus, and I said it way back, I don't even know how many couple episodes, 4, 5, 6, 7 episodes ago. He was the most well-rounded basketball player on this roster. When I said it, I still believe that to be the case, but we have a lot of them. I feel like fundamental basketball, being able to, be an offensive player and playing on the defensive side of the ball. He's just been that guy all year, and he's getting it done in multiple ways. Logan, how do you diagnose this situation? This is a graphic you found, so I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
It's a graphic that caught me by surprise, but not by surprise. I know Strus can play some defense. I think that's something we never ever talk about with Max Strus. And if I can add to your list of what this signing did for us, Jeffrey, body language.
Ooh,
that's huge to me. I think last year, many a times when we were defeated, we knew it because we were looking at the players in the court. Strus is constantly pissed. I don't know if that makes sense, but he
don't get pushed around. He don't get bullied. He don't let the refs bully him. Nothing.
No, he goes in there with reckless abandon for rebounds. Like, I don't give if I get a foul call, I get a foul call. And I think that's a good thing. Yeah, there's times, and the time and place is always a thing in basketball. And does the situation call for this or that? Sure. Is he sometimes careless with his passes? Every now and then. But you know what? We have a starting point guard that's trying to work on that as well. So, this is something that just happens with players. But body language. I swear he's always moving. I swear he's always ready to roll. I swear, he kind of maybe complains to the officials a bit too much, but he cares so deeply. He has a very big passion for this. A guy that was passed on by a lot of teams. A guy that didn't have an opportunity earlier in his career, and obviously we've seen that with players like Sam Merrill. I just think he has some kind of chip on his shoulder, and even when he's not knocking down three-pointers, he's a positive player for this team. So everybody that has been hating on him on Twitter and saying things of the nature of, Sam Merrill should take his spot, I'm like, no, don't do that. Shut up. Watch the game. See what else he provides. Max Strus was a fantastic signing. I think he's well worth the price tag that he has, and he gives us, 12 points a game? Nothing crazy, but his impact is certainly immeasurable.
Justin, now here's my thing. Even from last year, and this I'm glad you brought this up, Logan. I'm glad this graphic exists because I want to take us all the way back to last year. And I know it's going to get old, but like I said, you're only as good as how much you improve. And we only really have 1 year baseline, especially with Mitchell, Garland, Mobley, and Allen, whatever you want to say the core for. Justin makes, I think, probably one of the most overlooked and underrated arguments last year after we lose to 5 games against the Knicks. The being a top 1, 2, or 3 defense is really, really nice and all, but that wasn't our issue. Yeah. Now, you might be questioning, okay, we just showed a defensive graphic. We're talking about defense. Yes. Justin's point was we'd probably be better off being a top 3 or 4 offense and being like 10th or 11th on the defensive side of the ball than the reverse. Now, when you put the two together, let's say you're top 7 in both. Let's say you're top 5 in both. That's the recipe to go, all right, here's this first round win. Okay, the second round, it's going to be, fighting to the death, but hey, maybe you win in 6 games. Maybe it takes you to 7 games. Maybe you mess around, you're in the Eastern Conference Finals this season. Justin, has your mentality kind of changed watching this team? Like, do you think we're in a better spot right now as far as like, hey, the offense is ranked here and the defense is ranked here compared to last season?
Yeah, I feel like the defense is always going to be JB's forefront, but for what we went out and did in the offseason, I think we completely I think a couple weeks ago I talked about we finally are seeing the picture that they wanted to put together. And it's been incredible to watch the offensive outputs. Even Logan has, talked about, playing other people's games like the Kings, who typically score a whole lot of points in a game and whatnot. We're beating people at that. We're not typically always beating them under 100 points, but we're putting up more than 100. So, and you're getting it from just about everyone, honestly. Like, this is what, like, again, when I say Mitchell is your A1 plus guy, right now, Garland still doesn't look great. Like, I still don't think he looks like his normal self. I feel like the shots still aren't going down for him. The passing looks a lot better. He's keeping the ball pretty clean for the most part, which is great. But I just feel like, again, he's kind of out of whack with the shots as of right now and not getting that kind of normal output. But at the end of the day, if you're of the, let's take it to an extreme. If you're of the mind of Garland and Mobley should come off the bench, you should just be okay with how their output is right now instead of being like, oh, that's probably a better idea. Because in reality, you don't need Garland to be getting 20 to 30 points per night if everyone outside of – if Mitchell's getting 20 to 30 and everyone else is somewhere in between 10 to 15 or 10 to 20, which, I think 5+ players outside of Mitchell are as of right now, that's huge. And that's pretty typical out of most games nowadays for us. And, I just think that we didn't have to sacrifice defense. We might have even added to it with Strus and who we were able to keep last year. So I'm just very impressed. And I think, like I said, the picture is coming together now.
When we drafted Darius Garland, I compared him to Chauncey Billups. Oh. And you know what? It wasn't a great comparison. I'm talking offensively. I thought that they were similar. But I think that's the kind of role that Darius could fulfill for this team. A guy who can take care of the basketball, get 8 to 12 assists on any given night, and doesn't need 20 points to be a true effect on the game. I think if Garland can settle into a role of 19 and 10, something of that nature. I know before the season we were talking, can Garland get 10 assists this year? And I think I said wholeheartedly, yes, he can, because of all the shooting that we added. Obviously, those things haven't exactly panned out. Injuries are in the way. He's not feeling quite right. But I think it's hard as a player to accept that sometimes, that, Garland can still be an all-star. And I think the way he does that is by being an all-star in his role. He doesn't need to score 23 points. He doesn't need to have this 45-point bombs randomly. It'd be great to have every now and then, absolutely. But if Garland can settle into this role, like Justin plays it out perfectly. One big guy, one guy that scores a whole lot of points, and 5 to 6 guys below him that are getting 10 plus, 17 plus, 15 plus, somewhere in that nature. That's when this Cavaliers team is at its best. When it's balanced and right, it can be deadly.
Absolutely. And I think that my biggest fear when these injuries happened, 8 weeks ago, has actually what's the reality has been the complete opposite. I was worried it was going to be Donovan going for 40, 45. Okay, playing every minute. Jarrett Allen. And while we've seen spurts of that, like, okay, Mitchell won us this game. Jarrett Allen won us this game. Especially since we've been back healthy, it is a team collective effort. And really, that's just why we're so hard to beat right now. It's not like, last year where I feel like if Mitchell's shut down, all right, it's going to be very difficult to win the game. Probably have no chance whatsoever as far as if you're playing a good team. But totally different this year. Mero could beat you. Niang could come and play competent minutes. I still think our backup big situation is probably the most lacking part of the team, but you're not going to have a perfect roster. It's pretty much impossible. But I mean, Okoro knocking down the 3-point shot, Dean Wade following suit as well. And then, your top echelon players just leading the way, whether it be Mitchell, Allen, or Mobley. But we got a couple things to talk about. I mean, we already predicted for this game that's happening tonight against 76ers. I believe we all went Cavs. We did. We're going to talk about the Bulls on Wednesday, but before we hop into that, we got to go to the weekly Eastern Conference standings roundup. Here's my thing. It's second week of February. I love the Cavs. Think they're playing the best basketball in the league. I think if I were to put a wager down on finals champion right now, I would put money on the Celtics. I think they're that good. I think they have the star power. I think they made appropriate moves in the offseason. If they get high level of play from guys like Derek White, guys like Kristaps Porzingis, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the playoffs and in the regular season. Just seems like they don't lose. We're 9-1 last 10. We haven't moved higher than 5 games back. Not saying it's impossible. 5 games is, there's 30, 40 left. So plenty of things can happen, but they remain king in the Eastern Conference. 12 losses, first team over that 40-win mark, 25-3 at home. Not a team I would like to see in a playoff series if we had to go on the road. But everyone else I'm feeling pretty confident with. What I like about this graphic, and correct me if I'm wrong, weren't we like terrible last year on the road? Weren't we like horrible?
Yeah, we were really, really good at home.
It's the exact inverse of last year. We
It's
were fantastic at home.
We have 18 home wins. We have 17 road wins.
We're the best road team in the NBA right now. I don't know if you guys knew that.
That's absolutely perfect. 9-1 in your last 10. 20 games above 500. Going for 20 games above 500 tonight. 2 games above Milwaukee for the 2 seed. That's huge. 3 games above the Knicks for the 4 seed, so on and so forth. 76ers, Pacers. Probably my favorite Justin take of the year. Magic, absolutely on the fall off. Kind of expected, but a lot of people thought they were, maybe be a little bit better than 7.
I should have also made my side note that Trae Young's a fraud. So, but
well, he's an all-star, so
we'll
give him the pity all-star.
That's what he is.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you though, like I could never think like this as a fan, but as an analyst, especially right now, like after what we saw Miami do last year, like is this the end of the world? Like, do some of these teams like care about?
If I'm the Hawks
like
and I get Magic, I'm happy as fuck.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like Miami don't care about, like, it's not great because of longevity in the postseason run, but like, is a play-in? Like, I'd be disappointed with a play-in. I think, like I said, as a fan, but like, if you're looking at it, like, if you're the most talented, if you feel like you're a talented team in the conference, who cares if you're the 8th seed or whatever? Like, yeah, it's not going to be great. You have to play more games, like I said, but Miami made a run last year. I feel like any team can make a run if they're hot at the right time.
Logan, was it 2 or 3 years ago that the Hawks made it to the Eastern Conference
Finals? It was 2021 after they beat the Sixers and then lost to the Bucks.
So it was the 3rd round, or 3 years ago. Sorry.
Well, that's the thing, right?
Or 3 seasons ago, right?
What was that?
Is it 3 seasons ago or 2
seasons
seasons
the Bucks
ago? Because they were the playing team against us 2 years ago. I thought for some reason that they made it to the Eastern Conference.
But even
Finals
that Cavs team, like, and I understand that Cavs team lost 2 play-in games. Like, I'm not trying to like rewrite history as that like that team was some sort of like on the cusp of elite. But I would have not been surprised if that Cavs team made a series and then we got a good matchup where it was literally like our big 3 was just too much to handle for an opposing roster, and we won a playoff series that year. Like, I think the play-in games, yeah, it's not great like you used to get a series, but you could garner some momentum from those, standalone contests.
Yeah, it pisses me off alone because of Trae Young, just because he killed us. And then we got, of course, the last bit of Kyrie and Kevin Durant magic, and they couldn't miss for one shot. But yeah, you're right. That would have been it would have been nice to get a series.
I'm telling you guys, the number that stands out is 17-8 away.
I totally agree.
That's going to serve you well in the playoffs. If you can steal 1 of 2 at any point in the series, the whole series is flipped on its head.
You do your job. That's your whole job, is to win a road game. I mean,
and that's what sucked last year, right? We go into New York, we looked like scared little kids, and it's because we couldn't find any success on the road. We're playing in New York, where those fans are great. Those fans are tough to combat, absolutely. But you look at 17-8, best road record in the NBA. That is what you want when you are thinking deep playoff run. You need a team that can win on the road.
Absolutely, love it. So, like I said, Cavs, we got a clean sweep for the Cavs tonight. Justin is
back in the lead,
back in the tied position.
Damn it! So
he goes full sweep Cavs, 32-19. I still get the tie break because I was 1 game up in the last episode. Me and Logan both trying to get sharp here, thinking our Cavaliers are going to fall. Fools we are. But we have 2 games. We got tonight. Like I said, we're recording this pre-tip-off, so if you're watching this, appreciate you tapping on in. Hit that like button if you love the Cleveland Cavaliers. Comment down below. What content should we do for the All-Star break? Coming up after the 14th game against the Bulls. 2 games at home to round out the first half of the season, even though we are 53 games in and there was only 29 games after the All-Star break. I'm going to keep this going because, like, let's just keep the momentum on a high. Keep it rolling into the All-Star break. What would that be? 11-game winning streak into the All-Star break. Get rejuvenated. I actually don't even want if we're at 11-game win streak, I'm going to be pissed about the All-Star break. Just keep going. Why, That's going to make me a little nervous. Give them some time off. The mojo dies down. Not saying it's a guarantee, but something that could be, something to watch. Could come out a little slow after the All-Star break. We've been giving it our all probably the past 10 weeks. Justin, do you have similar thoughts about this?
Cavs.
Okay, Cavs all the way. I don't know if Justin is going to say the opposing team once for the rest of the season.
Probably
moving
not.
forward. 29, 30 games left, but we'll see.
That overall record prediction now not looking so great.
Not looking great.
Mine's looking all right.
It is.
Cut to Dwight Schrute meme saying Cavs all the way. Like to remind the audience, I started the season 0-6.
Mm-hmm.
Now 3 games above 500. Actually, Jeffrey, go ahead and scroll up. Did I start
1-6.
Yeah,
1-6.
Yeah, but look, I think I got my one on the last game of that week. I bet you. Yeah.
1-6, 2-7.
Oh, it was against the Wizards. Does that count?
You started 2-7, Logan.
Brutal. I guess you did too, and you're doing far better. So I don't really have a point.
That's all right.
I'm telling you, man. I'm not going to catch these guys this year, but you can't keep me down. That's all I got to say.
There's still plenty of game time left. I mean, I feel like we finally got.
If Justin keeps saying Cavs, and the Cavs keep winning, ain't nobody catching Justin.
Exactly. I should have never stopped. There was such a bad reason to stop.
Way to do this.
I was. Who would have thought that Darius Garland and Evan Mobley being out wouldn't affect this team? Apparently,
it's wild.
Literally,
it would affect them in a positive way. Actually,
right.
Literally, find all the guys. Get all the playing time for the guys who we didn't even know could make an impact. So, I mean, it's been a crazy season so far. Look to keep it going tonight against their current roster composition right now, an inferior 76ers squad, obviously without Embiid. Just couple of injuries over there, not looking too great. And then, like I said,
we got through our injury bug, I hope.
I know. Now
everybody else is dealing with it.
Now it's time for the other teams. The Knicks are a little banged up. Philly's banged up. Boston's been relatively healthy all year.
Milwaukee is banged up at the coaching position. Rivers is clearly not the answer so far.
Milwaukee's struggling. Maybe Giannis should have kept the other guy, but I guess we'll see. Well, gentlemen, Logan, let's start with you. Final thoughts. Send us away here. Then we'll go Justin. I'll wrap it up.
Just keep winning. The Cavaliers have made me eat my words. I won't lie to everybody. When it was 13-12, I was thinking 500 season and exit in the first round again. And things didn't look right. Obviously, in the back of our heads, we all believe this team is far better than what they started at. And they have done just that. They've made us exciting again. Like Jeffrey said, it used to not be fun to watch these games. It used to be like just terrified for 4 quarters. Are we actually going to pull this out? Can we beat the frickin' Raptors, like some random team? We freaking beat them. Now we go in there expecting to win. I go into games expecting to win. And the Cavs are going to lose a few games, guys. Like they're going to lose a few that are going to piss us off, but we're now in a position that we can be a tough out. If we're winning 9 games in a row, didn't we win 8 before our loss? Because we're
I think so.
The last 18?
I think so.
Hello. You got to lose 4 times to be out in the playoffs. And these Cavs showing me that they can go streaking and just keep winning. That tells me a whole lot about our playoff success.
Absolutely. Justin?
Unfortunate. We have to play my sweet prince tonight, but he healed. Unfortunate.
I forgot they have them.
They got both of my fucking guys.
He's going 5 triples tonight.
Well, Justin, I don't want to get your hopes up, and I think I'm not saying moot, but I think Hield's contract is done after this year.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
Know. There's still time.
It is.
Not that we need him. Well,
I don't know where we'd find $20 million either.
I don't know. He won't command $20 million.
He'll take a cut. He'll take a cut to come to after we win the finals. He'll take a cut to come play with us.
But him and Kelly Oubre both on this 76ers team, the only 2 players I think that are healthy and good on this team right now, unless Maxi's playing tonight. But besides the point, it's going to be unfortunate to watch probably both of them get clamped by Okoro and Strus apparently. So it'll be nice, but unfortunate for me.
Fair enough. I must put the season kind of like this so far. Like potential is just that until it's realized. I think this is the year of 2024, the year of realization for this Cleveland Cavalier franchise. You get to write your own story. Yes, you have a budding superstar in Donovan Mitchell, but you're playing the most team-oriented basketball in the history of the franchise in all likelihood, or just up there, top 2 or 3, obviously. But yeah, I think it should be an interesting game tonight. Excited to tune in, lock in. Hopefully Cavs could keep this rolling and pick up another W. With that being said, hit the like button, comment down below. All-Star break content suggestions. Me and Logan, more shorts on the way. Justin, keeping going with the Browns content. NFL offseason is here. Lots to talk about on the Pulse. We got big things coming up in the future. And yeah, with that all being said, we appreciate you being the Pulse.